Good morning. This morning I was just thinking about the amazing truth that when we become Christians, we are born again. Now there are branches of the church who don't like the phrase born again. They think it smacks of charismatic things and of things they don't think, and they believe. Many people believe you can be born into a Christian family and be therefore a Christian from the moment you're born. That when you're baptized, you become a Christian. Of course, some churches baptize babies. And so this idea that you can be, if you're born into a Christian family and you're brought up to do Christian things and live a life like a Christian, that you are a Christian. And I think it's good to think, well, is the term born again really biblical? Born, as in John 3, Jesus says to Nicodemus, unless one is born from above or born anew, born a second time. Because Nicodemus obviously understood Jesus to mean born a second time, because he says, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born? So Nicodemus understood Jesus to mean a birth that is different to the natural birth from a mother's womb. And we're all born naturally. Well, some people are born by caesarean section, but you know what I mean. We all have come from our mother's womb, except perhaps those ones that are test tube babies, but even those, the fertilized egg was placed in a woman's womb. We are born out of the water, you know, when women, often their waters break as the start of their labour. Jesus said, that which is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. These are two different births. And you need the second birth, or to be born from above, or born anew, or born again, in order to be a Christian. So, going back to John 1, John himself introduces this idea in verse 12 of John 1, John's Gospel, chapter 1. He's talked about Jesus being the Word that was with God in the beginning, and everything being made through him. This wonderful passage in John 1. And then about him being the light coming into the darkness. And he was in the world, verse 10, and the world was made through him, yet the world knew him not. He came to his own, and his own people received him not. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. There's that word again, born. And in this case, these are people who received Jesus, who did not reject him, as many did. But many rejected him. He came to his own people, and his own people would not receive him. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God. And some people believe that all human beings are children of God. Yes and no. This makes a distinction here, doesn't it? That those who received Jesus were given the power to become children of God. We are all created in the image of God. We are like God. We've been made like him. Because we were created. God said, let us make man in our own image, male and female. He created them. So we are like God. We bear a likeness to our Heavenly Father. But we're not born into his family. born into his family, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. So, to be able to receive Jesus, you have to already have been born. So this being born, not of the will of man, but of God, is being born from above. And I think it's true that people who have been born into a Christian family and have been brought up with Christian things around them all the time, maybe will not be able to remember when they gave their life to Jesus, or when they received Jesus, or when they believed on him, whichever term you want to use. Perhaps they were too young. But you know, every day we have to choose to follow Jesus. But for all of us, there will have been a time when we choose to follow Jesus, when we receive him, when it's not a family belief, but it becomes our belief. It becomes your own, not just something your family has always believed and has always done and has always followed these rules, these ways of life, but it becomes something that you do, that it stirs something inside of you in response to what Jesus has done for you. And I believe that is true of everyone, that there has to be a moment, just like we can't remember when we were born, but we were all born. No one's going to dispute that we were all born. There was a moment when we stopped depending on our mother for life, but we became independent individuals. And there needs to be that moment when what has been taught to us as children perhaps becomes ours, and we continue to follow. As adults, we choose to follow. We choose to receive him. We choose to believe in his name. And we become children of God. There is a division in this world. There are those who are not children of God and those who are children of God. Those who have been born of the flesh but not of the Spirit. And those who have been born of the flesh and born of the Spirit, who are children of God. It's my thought for the day. It's the most wonderful thing that ever happens to any of us, is being born again. God bless you. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.